Browns preparing for the Jets on a short week. They will have a chance to clinch the playoffs with a victory over New York on Thursday night. But Mary Kay, they will have to do it without their kicker, Dustin Hopkins. He is week to week with that hamstring injury he suffered against the Texans, and Kevin Stefanski ruled him out of Thursday night's game.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to believe. He's had such an amazing season. You get to this point, you have an opportunity to clinch the playoffs Thursday night on national television against the Jets, and they don't have their amazing kicker. He's kicked 4 game winners this season. He's 8 for 8 on kicks of 50 plus. He's been clutch. He's been a major reason why they're 10-5, and now they are without him, at least for this game.
Yeah, and Ashley, I mean, we get asked all the time, who was the best Browns acquisition, right? And Dustin Hopkins is on that list of guys this offseason, right before the season started, in fact, that the Browns acquired.
Yeah, I know, Mary Kay, you wrote a column when they were 8-5 a couple weeks ago about they wouldn't be there without him, and I think it's so true. This might be a sneaky, underrated loss for them, and it's hard to think of Dustin as underrated because we all been talking about him. We know how important he's been, but I think, too, it's important to remember, like, in the NFL in general, but especially in the playoffs, a lot of these games are so close, you can't understate the importance of that kicking game, and he's been so rock solid. It's hard to imagine what this is going to look like if he has to miss an extended period of time.
Now, another kicker who's been very important, of course, is Corey Bojorquez. He's been great in the field position game. Kevin Stefanski loves to say he wants his punter to be a weapon. Corey has been that. But now we don't know if he's going to play Thursday night. Kevin was, I guess, a little more optimistic about him in the fact that he didn't just rule him out for the game. But Mary Kay, the Browns did add Matt Hawk to their practice squad.
Yeah, once again, they've had Dustin and Corey all season long, and those two guys have been tremendous. How many times do we look out there and he is booming something into the coffin corner or, punting a 75-yarder? I mean, it's just been incredible. He's had a career season, as has Dustin. And now they're probably or possibly going to be without both guys. And, of course, we know that Corey got injured because he was trying to replace Dustin on kickoffs. And they were down to D'Anthony Bell doing that in the fourth quarter. So it's really just, I'm sure Kevin Stefanski, the unflappable Kevin Stefanski, has just got to be slapping his forehead over this one.
Yeah, and Ashley, it says something when we're talking about how important a punter is and maybe not having your punter on a Thursday night game. And it's not just the punting, but it's also just the whole operation where they might have a new holder in whoever's punting and then also a new kicker.
Yeah, and I mean, especially I think it's interesting because another part of this is we know DTR was placed on IR. And when we were watching them kind of experiment with different things on the sideline in Houston, when they were having Corey Bojorquez do some practice kicks, you know who was holding for him? DTR. So after that, I mean, I do think you can't understate the importance of that. A guy like Charlie Hewlett, at least, is still there. He's the second longest tenured Brown behind Joel Bitonio at this point, got his extension last year, but they're going to need some kind of miracle to happen, I think, for this to look seamless on Thursday night.
Yeah, so look, we went deep into the weeds there on special teams. But as Ashley mentioned, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he goes on IR with a hip injury. We spotted him in the locker room on a crutch, and obviously that was concerning. And then that concern was justified when Kevin Stefanski told us he was going to go on IR. Just disappointing for the rookie Mary Kay. And look, he was their backup quarterback.
Yeah, he was their backup quarterback, and he was also playing some spot duty. He's in on a 2-point run, occasional 2-point pass, and he'll sometimes run an RPO or do something else to kind of change things up a little bit. And so very, very unfortunate for DTR. It means PJ Walker is in there as the backup, and he's done some really nice things this year. But both of those guys had a little bit of an interception problem, and so they're just going to have to be very, very careful if they have to go to PJ.
Okay, let's talk about the quarterback of the Jets. Ashley, it's going to be Trevor Siemian this week, not Zach Wilson, as Zach Wilson was ruled out by Robert Saleh. So I don't know, is this a break or not? Because Zach Wilson has certainly had his ups and downs, but we know Trevor Siemian can certainly win football games.
Yeah, and he's a veteran. Zach Wilson, I mean, we said it in there. He's been kind of a mess so far this year when he's played for the Jets. So it might not be the break that they're expecting or that fans are expecting, but definitely another interesting part of this game. I mean, we go into this season thinking this Thursday night game could be a big primetime matchup between Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers, and look at all the quarterbacks these two teams have had to go through.
Yeah, Mary Kay, when you look at that marquee and you think what it could have been promoting this game, it could have been Deshaun on one side, Aaron on the other. Now it's Flacco versus Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, and you know what? It's been like that a lot this season. It really has. I mean, you look at last week, and it was Joe Flacco versus Case Keenum instead of C.J. Stroud. And then next week, instead of Deshaun versus Joe Burrow, it's going to be Jake Browning. So it really has been battle of the backups for a lot of this season, and this is just another one of those. But they are going to have to worry about a really good aggressive defense, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, quick turnaround. We'll have full coverage of everything leading up to the game, all at cleveland.com/Browns.